dragon-shaped emperor roared continuously like an enraged martial emperor flying straight down. The whole heaven and earth changed color. Tianshui Kingdom witnessed everything. He finally made a move. A mocking sound on his face suddenly vanished into thin air. A sword light appeared from his hand, flew out. In an instant, Zhang Linghua's aura was split into two sword lights. The aura dispersed. The sword light broke dragon aura, but the strength did not decrease, continuing to shoot straight at Zhang Linghua. Mak Xiaochuan's body was at peak of elegance, while Zhang Linghua was too terrified. I don't understand where powerful warrior appeared from like that. Vaguely sensing the opponent's strength still on me in this urgent situation, hurriedly drew out treasured sword. One sword raised to the sky and slashed down angrily. Shouted, one strike cuts the heavens. The sword has no mercy. The mysterious 8th grade weapon, empowered by the martial emperor's force, has increased its power to the extreme. This sword contains his entire life's cultivation. The heavens and earth change color. One sword from Zhang Lanhua, whether intentional or accident, seems to want to wipe out everyone. Tai Lin's face turns pale with panic. He hopes both sides will clash, but still doesn't want the trade alliance to be destroyed. Obviously, it's too late. This sword envelopes everything. Within a few miles, who can escape? Tidy has just entered the martial emperor realm. You're still too inexperienced. On Ma Zhao's face, there's a look of mockery. He pauses, glancing at the bright moon Hui, then swings his right hand in front of him, immediately forming a Taiji diagram. His finger stimulates a crescent moonlight, condensing into a moonlight on the surface. The fingertip then Lang strikes with Zhang Langhua's sky-shattering sword energy. This moonlight isn't as sky-shattering as Zhang Langhua's, but it directly shatters the opponent's aura. Powerful explosion erupts, turning the entire world pure white. Under the force of this sword strike, the 8th-level mystic energy of Zhang Linghua had no strength to resist. Directly beaten to pieces, his aura completely gone. Witnessing all this, everyone was terrified. Zhang Linghua's complexion was obviously pale as death, his right hand holding the sword trembling. Though he tried hard to control himself, he still found it hard to stay calm inside. A massive wave was born, and the two fought each other with their techniques, then stopped attacking afterward. The entire space fell into a strange silence. And Xiao Xian was the first to break the silence, mockingly saying, you just stepped into the martial emperor realm and already think you're invincible. There are countless people like you on this continent wanting to claim the throne. Run back to the northern war sect of yours. In front of young Master Van, you have no right. Understand? Zhang Lanhua's face turned pale, extremely serious. The swordsmanship contest just ended. Outsiders can't see any, but he clearly understands he's no match for the opponent in front of him. He withdraws. Lim, with a domineering aura, said in a deep voice, where are you from? What is your relationship with Li Van Tu? Mak Tu Shuyan replied, what does where I'm from have to do with you? As for what you want to say to Van Thu, come down here and say it to his face. Everyone looking up you like this is very unusual. Shrang Lang Hoa looked Mak Tu Shuyan's demeanor, which was more than respectful towards Li Van Tu, and inside he was increasingly terrified, yet even more convinced that Li Van Tu was a disciple of a powerful sect. Thinking this, he didn't show any resistance and carried everyone to fly down direct. Zhang Lang Hoa glanced at Li Van Tu. He was silent for a long moment, then his face carried a complicated expression, and finally he suddenly bowed down, clasped his hands, and said, young Van, the Hoa Loi then quiet is original, the supreme technique of the Back Dao sect. I hope that young Van can transfer. At this moment, he realized all his plans and calculations were useless, and instead he had to beg the other part. Right now, not only the Thunder God technique requires a fee, even the matter of the Wind Elder and the museum is out of question. Li Yunxiao, upon hearing there was a fee, immediately became alert, his face full of smiles, and said, oh, so the Thunder God technique is that important. I wonder what price sect leader Zhang plans to pay to obtain it. Zhang Lang Hoa said, 10,000 inks. He spoke neither fast nor slow. The other party is willing to set a price, then it's easy to handle. How many ingots is just a matter of numbers, but you can't give too many or too few, because that would cause loss of face. Li Yunxiao shook his head repeatedly and said, sect leader Zhang is too insincere. It's a town. Master Qi said, why is it worth 10 billion? Chief of the Thunder God sect sells 20 billion stones to you. Will you buy it? Alright. Tai Lam quickly laughed loudly and said, don't say 20 billion, even if it's 200 billion. I'll buy it. Tai Lam, 7th Master, you are really some. Zhang Langhua's eyes revealed a fierce light as he stared at Tai Lam, full of intimidation. Zhang Linghua thought for a moment, then flipped his hand and took out a small box, staring at it with great affection. For a long time, sighed and said, alright, I will trade one item for the Thunder God technique. If Young Yun thinks it can be done, then take Mo Xiaochuan. Fearing Zhang Linghua would play tricks, stepped forward to snatch. Take it. Currently, Li Yunxiao's safety is his top priority. Absolutely cannot let Master Lam Yu Mu Xiaoxian check the small box in his hand. Only after seeing it clearly would he give it to Li Yunxiao. This move would make others tremble in fear. Even a martial emperor would be afraid, especially with the appearance like the young man's bodyguard. Besides, his power is too overwhelming. There's no other explanation. Li Yunxiao took the small box in Mo Zhao's hand, and his pupils suddenly contracted. Inside the small box, a small piece of blue spiritual energy radiated intensely, shining like polished jade. Lying there, Li Yunxiao was shocked and said, "The aura of wood is very powerful, with aura close to the primal essence. This must be the wood spirit treasure." Sect Master Zhang left behind cultivation of Thunder God technique would naturally be used. Strong Lang Hoa snorted coldly. This is clear heart tree spirit. It was cultivated by the Beihat sect many years ago. Originally it was for practicing the Thunder God technique, so it was cultivated for that purpose. This is the clear heart tree spirit cultivated by the Beihat sect many years ago. It was originally used for practicing the Thunder God technique, so it was cultivated for that purpose. Because of the cultivation of the Thunder God technique declined, but after divine decision was lost, pure heart wood was also cut down, and the planting methods were lost as well. Currently, only this much remains in the warehouse. Although quantity isn't large, with Van's limited knowledge, you surely understand its value. Li Van Tu was extremely terrified and fearfully said, "Still, the seedling species of this type, Beihat Tong, is so powerful. Its wood element is close to the original source. Although, compared to Phoenix True Fire, which is 10th rank existence, can still be considered on par with 9 rank genius treasures." Zhang Lanhua seems to have found a glimmer of power, proudly saying, "At this moment, when the Northern Grain sect rampaged across continent, even the 7 great powers, but how could you possibly know so much?" Li Yunxiao carefully retracted the wooden zip, also not wanting to trouble Zhang Linghua, and said, "I want this piece of wood. Earlier, I helped your junior brother kill Elder Feng and also obtain the hidden treasure map. Those matters. These are all demon territory spirit stones, but we haven't seen a single crystal yet. Sect leader Zhang, if you take out 1 billion middle-grade spirit stones, pay him. Then this item will be credited to you." Disciple Zhang Lanhua suddenly clenched his fists, realizing how close he was to mastering the Thunder God's technique, almost making it difficult for him to resist the urge to get excited. But thinking about Li Van Tu's words, I still got angry and said, "Miss Van, don't be too hasty." Mak Hoang-Gwyn snorted coldly and said, "Trading is voluntary on both sides. The Thunder God technique is in Van's hands. He can sell it as he wishes. If you're not satisfied, you probably won't buy it, but you shouldn't delay our time. We still want to transmit to Wufang City." Inside, Shrang Lang Hoa felt powerless, his heart anxious and unsettled. He said, "Master Mak, do you also want to leave Nam Hoa City?" Mak Hoang-Gwyn nodded and said, "Yes, in recent years. Thank you, Chief Trong, for your whole heart. Thanks for your consideration. My matters in Nam Hoa City are completed. I want to return to the holy domain to serve my master. It's also a good chance to make friends with young Van." He continued, "Sect leader Truong, if Under God transformation technique is the sect's treasured artifact, value is naturally immeasurable. The sect leader has taken out the 9th grade wood element. How could you possibly 100 million top grade primordial stones? Van Thu doesn't lack these primordial stones, but the Thunder God's secret technique is something the sect leader must have. This matter seems like sect leader Zhang also doesn't have many options to bar." Zhang Lanhua senses an underlying bias, especially being more cautious about Li Yunxiao's identity. Can only admit it and say, "All right, Master Mak." Master Mak said the same thing. "If we keep dragging this out because of primordial stones, on the contrary, it's Zhang Linghua who's stingy." He snorted coldly and said, "Yunxiao, this time, consider Master Mak's face just as you wish." He swung his hand, and a bag full of primordial stones flew over Mak Xiao Chuan. Receiving the bag with terror, Dad saw no issues and handed it over to Li Van Tu. Zhang Linghua got furious again, but he couldn't do any. The deal between the two parties was complete, and Li Van Tu did linger, directly throwing over the statue of Thunder God decision. Zhang Linghua laughed happily and loud. The lamb saw this, immediately went up smiling and said, "It's getting late. Young Master Van respectfully invites everyone to enter formation." Everyone was about to go to the formation when suddenly Mai Dongni from the Northern Fighting Sect shouted, "Say, Young Master Van, I also want to go to Chengwu. Feng, can you take me there?" Li Van Tu said in surprise, "Dongni, you are going. What's going on with Tan Vu Feng?" "Stay in the north to cultivate in the Do technique until reaching a higher realm. Only then can you do what you should do." Mai Dongni blushes and is about to explain when Haong Dong steps forward to clarify for her. Young Master Van Dongni's family is in Tan Vu Feng. She has been away from home for many years. This time she has returned to inform me. "Well, if you go home alone, I won't feel at ease. I originally wanted to escort you myself, but if I can accompany Li Van Thu, there's nothing to worry about. So that's how it is." Li Van Thu agrees. Mai Dongni happily steps into formation, standing together with everyone. Ken Huin stands outside formation, feeling sore. She knows very well that she silently blaming, silently criticizing. "Say, you foolish girl, Van Thu is a person of a high level. Being able to associate with him is a once-in-a-lifetime fate. Do you still want to pursue a peaceful, stable business in your guild?" Van Thu, this fragrant pouch contains a true dragon's essence, harmonized with heavenly treasures and earthly value. valuables for sharpening. The powder is made into a set pouch. Moreover, contains more than 30 blended fragrances. Inside, Van Thieu carries it with him to ward off evil and bad spirits. Very beneficial for cultivation. Ken Huin didn't know where he got courage from, took off the scented pouch at his side, and stepped into the formation. Li Van Thieu was a bit stunned, then chuckled, and said, "Well then, thank you, Sun Tui. Until we meet again, I look forward to seeing you next time." Ken Huin tried to hold back her tears as she said, "I hope our next meeting won't be too long. I am waiting for good news from Van Thieu, brought by Tong Noyet Du." The Lam smiled and said, "Chairwoman Ken Huin, with such heartfelt intentions, Van Thieu will surely understand. The great formation is beginning to act respectfully. Please go back. Everyone here, all, we're getting older and more experienced." Naturally understood that Ken Huin had feelings for Li Van Thieu. All smiled. Ken Huin's eyes were red and blazing. She bowed her head and quickly ran away. The formation, controlled by Tai Lam, quickly shot a beam of light outward. In the sky, there was a five-colored cloud. The group of Li Van Thieu turned so vague in the formation. Group of people finally disappeared in the formation. Li Van Thieu just left. Everyone now breathed a sigh of relief, but seemed to feel cold wind blowing. Only Zhang Langhua's expression was icy, coldly staring at Zhe Lam, and solemnly said, "Chief Zhe, what you just said, talking nonsense a lot." De Lam bit her lips slightly, trying to resist pressure from Truong Langhua, and said, "Chief Truong, I only speak from the heart. Right now, you and Van Thieu have obtained what you need, and everyone is happy. Isn't that a good thing?" Good for you to say. Everyone is happy. Truong Langhua reigned in his aura. Before, Lan Dam said, "I'm also tired of arguing with. Let it be. The vein of minerals in the two Dain lies in such a dangerous place. You all have limited strength, and after so many years, it has never been touched. Our Back Dao sect will try to take on task of mining it." "What?" De Lam said, so angrily his face went pale. Zhang said, "Master, you're overstepping." "Don't say that. Our martial alliance does not agree. Whether it's the Heavenly Seed sect or the New Moon sect, will they agree?" Zhang Lanhua smiled and said, "As for that, festival leader doesn't need to worry. Li Fengyu and Xiao Ming and I will discuss with them. This time, we are going to Chengnanhua." Excluding the transaction with Li Yunxiao, Jia also conveniently informed the festival leader. Zhang Langhua said coldly, "Inform all of you that from now on, Toon will be a forbidden zone of the Northern Do sect. If anyone trespasses, they will be killed without mercy." The Northern Do sect members, led by Zhang Langhua, transformed into a beam of light. She leaves angrily. Tai Lam stomps her feet in frustration, standing there, unable to vent her anger. Ken Huin looks at everyone's expressions, feeling only that her inner self is dull and boring. Standing in the empty teleportation array, she sighs deeply, knowing that Manhua City is about to enter a chaotic period similar to hundreds of years ago. Perhaps this sweet treat, unable to reach Purple Cloud Chamber. Right now, all her energy is focused on reclaiming the lost mark, then going to meet the person she wants to see. In Wu Feng City, the space of the great transmission array opened up and everyone went out. Outside, and you all landed in an open courtyard. In front of you stood a kind old man, looking around at everyone, folding his hands and smiling. "Welcome, friends. I am the head of Under Peak Merchants Association branch, established in the Wu Feng Quat City, and have long received news from Chief Tai Lam, saying that friends from the Thunder Peak Merchants Association are soon to arrive here and asked me to welcome them." Li Yunxiao casually looked at Kui Chin, only having a martial artist Tin-Tun level compared to Tai Lam being 2 levels lower. He noticed something strange. Here belongs to the northern region, and the scale of Wu Feng City is even larger than Nam Hoa City. Logically, should be that a strong was sent here. So why is the actual strength still weaker than the leader of Nam Hoa? Mo Hua Yuan seems to have guessed Li Van Thieu's thoughts, secretly whispering, "Say, young Master Van, Chengnan Fire contains many mines of Southern Fire Gold, which is the economic hub of the Lei Feng Trade Association. Therefore, it requires someone with strength to guard firmly. Tan Vong faction is complicated but not very numerous. Economic benefits, so the local garrison was not very strong. So that's how it is." Li Van Thieu felt distribution of power in Guangmin was indeed different from other forces. They saw it as a place that generated benefits, not just a big or small city. "You all have traveled far and hard. Why not rest at the trade association for a bit?" "A little." What Chin smiled and looked over at Mo Xiao Sun, who said with a smile, "This person must be Van Thieu from the festival leader's news. He only knows Van Thieu is the leader." And at this moment, looking at Mak Tu Shuyan's strength, it fit perfectly with Tai Lam's words. "Too bad for you being the leader, but you were mistaken." Xiao Huin too snorted coldly and said, "If not the strongest, then it's Van Thieu. Look here, who's the most handsome? That person is Van Thieu." This sentence made Huat Chin embarrassed. If he got the person wrong again, wouldn't that mean Van Thieu is handsome? His eyes glanced at Li Van Thieu and Mak Hoangwin. In the vague aura, there is the bearing of Grandmaster, which makes Huat Chin increasingly amazed, secret praising himself for having misjudged. Mo Hoangwin absolutely is not an ordinary person. As for Li Van Thieu, he looks very average, just a martial arts star of the 8th rank. Trash. Just this kind of character he does not bother to look at. But after many years running the store, suddenly I developed the skill to read people. Mak Tu Shuyan's true strength is profound and unfathomable, and Mak Hoa Nguyen is absolutely extraordinary. Seems like he's quietly standing beside that young man, using him to strike wherever he commands. But there is only one girl, my Dong Ni, like a fledgling bird, hiding behind him in his heart, silently blaming Tai Lam being disgusting, also not clearly explaining who Lai Van Tu is. He was momentarily unsure of what to choose. Seeing his mentally unstable appearance, Lai Van Tu chuckled and said, President Quad is too polite, making Loi Fong's guild feel honored. We are grateful to you all, and now you can rest as well. No need bother to take us through. Use the teleportation formation to cross the abyss. Alright, there's no time to delay. Quat Chin exhaled deeply. This time finally not mistaken. He suddenly cried out loud, Festival Chief has sent a letter clearly state Van Thieu wants to go to Tong Noyet Dune, but not perhaps the great transmission formation crossing. The abyss at Vu Fong City was destroyed yesterday. What? They were startled. Lai Van Thieu's face changed. He grimly said, destroyed? How long will it take to repair? The Martial Arts Technique Association was on edge. There wasn't much time left to delay. Chu Kuizheng said, it's two groups competing for the order to use the transmission great array. As a result, more than half of the formation has been destroyed. Currently, all the major forces of Vufing City are increasing repairs. The situation is unknown, and many martial artists have gathered in the city to be teleported here with a large number of people. Increased by half. Lai Van Tu said, I wouldn't have thought that Vu Fong City could handle such a heavy flow of people using teleportation. In just a few days has accumulated so much. Chairman Qua, can you find out if there's any progress on the repairs? Qua Chin said, alright, I will send someone to check. Just a moment, it's too chaotic outside right now. Everywhere are bold martial artists. One wrong word and a fight easily breaks out. Staying at the Merchant Guild is the safest. The next morning, in Lei Feng's bedroom at the Merchant Guild pairing, Li Yunxiao took out a sachet. As a gift, originally just a common token of sincerity, now it became an object. The mental chaos prevents him from calming down and practicing cultivation, and there's also teleportation array. If he's late by even a moment, it's the same as sending Ding Lin Ni to her death. This is something he absolutely cannot accept, no matter what. Thinking this, Li Yunxiao leaves bedroom and decides to go find her himself. Understand for once, after all, he is the 9th stage alchemy master. Plus there are Gao Han and Imo Hua Yuan here. The treatment will definitely be much faster. Li Yunxiao went outside and immediately saw my Dong and I entering a very prosperous brothel in the city. She looked up, then directly walked. Enter. Li Yunxiao was momentarily excited and followed behind. Li Yunxiao went to the foot of the Tu Lao, only to see a sign above. It was a plaque, 4 carats. Han Hu Mai Hung. Han Hu Mai Hung carries a meaning. Li Yunxiao smiled softly. Possible to open a Tu Lao right in the bustling area. Chenggu Feng. Background is absolute spectacular. It's not simple. Li Yunxiao enters inside, and Tan Vu Feng indeed gathers many martial artists. The Death Tower already has no seats left, but what surprises Li Yunxiao is that he doesn't see my Dongni's figure. He looks toward the kitchen, and suddenly there's a roar from inside. Immediately followed, that gleaming blade flew out, rushing straight towards Lai Van Tu's face. Lai Van Tu tilted his body to the side, blade striking directly against a pillar. The entire tavern, which had been noisy, suddenly fell silent. All eyes turned over. That moment, from the kitchen came the cold shout of an old woman saying, "You are not worthy." Immediately after was the sound flash between the two. Then a shadow flew backward. Fresh blood sprayed in the air. Clear person was wounded and defeated. Suddenly, Lai Van Tu's pupils contract, stepped forward to catch the slender waist of that figure, holding her in his arms. "A Van," the other person shouted, hardly able to believe what they saw. Passing by Lai Van Tu, "It's indeed my Dongni." She seems unconcerned about herself being injured and instead very urgent. Zhang says, "Why did you come here?" Lai Van Tu holds her body, releases her hand and says, "I happened to see you on the street and out of curiosity I came here, and someone got injured. You." It seems the old lady inside is very fierce. "Do you need my help?" My Dongni was caressed by him, her face already blushing. She kept shaking her head and said, "No, I don't want to. This is my matter. I will handle it myself." In the kitchen, there is the angry shouting of the old lady, shouting, "You should go back and learn how to. Looking for a man truly born to be promiscuous. Take your man and get lost. Or don't blame me killing." In Li Yunxiao's eyes was a trace of cold tears, staring coldly. "Kitchen," he sneered, "if you don't bring death on yourself, you won't die." He left my Dongni behind and strode away, stepped into my Dongni anxiously wanted to stop. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through. A man wearing a silver brocade robe appeared for my Dongni, revealing a lecherous expression, baring his teeth as he smiled and said, "Little lady, where did you come from? Just now I didn't notice. Your man is useless." "Nothing. Why not come with me? What do you say?" When this man in the robe here, many martial artists also showed up in the kitchen, surrounding my Dongni inside. On each face was lustful intent. My Dongni's complexion turned pale, sternly shouting, "Who are you?" "Heh heh, we are people." "What? You'll find out soon enough." The man wearing a brocade robe grinned and said, Xingwu Pi, we haven't found any good goods in the past few days. Today, we finally met someone with top quality talent, so we can spend some time well. His hand quickly reached out to my Dongni and the other men, also already exuding animalistic instincts, laughing wildly with a radiant glow in their eyes. Seemed that after the man finished using the blade, they too could ascend to enjoy it. My Dongni's expression was extremely gloomy, shameful, and anger rose up. Not wanting to say much, she immediately struck out on. As soon as she moved, it was the gentle water-style technique Li Yunxiao, transmitting steam enveloping the body seeming to turn into water, concealing the true essence of martial arts. Just as she wanted to make a move, suddenly Li Van Tu's voice came through. Alright, no need for trouble anymore. These family fireflies really have no discernment at all. Stirring up someone they should. Li Van Tu did not. Without knowing when it happened, the martial artists on the opposite side were struck down mercilessly by him, the bleeding hole on their forehead. Just as my Dongni was still unable to react, two more martial artists were already shaken. Immediately, one of them shouted in panic, sorrowfully saying, Young master, the young master is dead. The young master actually, he's dead. The two were extremely shocked. Their young master was a man of great value. He absolutely would not die like that. One of them said, trembling, you actually killed our young master. You are definitely dead. Li Yunxiao said coldly, if he's dead, then so be it. People die like that every day. There's no different from a dead dog leading the way. Do you know who my young master is? This martial artist looked sorrowful. By Thiet said, this not only means your entire clan will be wiped out, people like us will be implicated. Li Van Tu said, oh, he must hold a very high position. Your young master is the head of the headquarters, right? Hoa then high, or one of the great heroes of the sacred realm. Don't be so quick to speak. You've already caused a catastrophe covers the sky. Wait for the extinction of your clan. This martial artist is furious and can't hold back. He carries Wang Daji's corpse and leaves. On his way out, doesn't forget to shout malicious, Han Hu my home. You all should also, hoping to escape involvement, waiting for the fury to come. This moment, everyone fell silent, many turning pale with fear, saying, Wang Da is dead. How is that possible? Seems this man holding the sword has a significant background. The guests in the hall were extremely terrified. Many began to noisily leave, afraid of being implicated. The rich kids, are dead. In the kitchen, the old lady's voice rang out, mixed fear, coldly saying, my Dongni, you are truly a disgrace, causing disaster to the family. Immediately get out and go back. Han Yu Mai Hong is currently closed. Before this storm settles, will not operate again. Keep business going. After the old lady's voice echoed, the waiter and the two Lao's expression turned serious, and he began to drive away the customers. Cleaning up inside the inn, pairing closed the business. The old woman's voice was icy cold, reaching to the bone, softly saying, currently the Duyet Huin Tong has spoken, and they've already involved us. You all should continue. Go ahead, I'll hand over the matter. Yo lady, Huin Tong is better. My Dong's face was pale, and she said bitterly, Xiao Baba, you want to hand me over to outsiders to deal with. You saw through what just happened. Clearly, they were disrespectful first. Her expression was extremely grim, and she whispered, even if they are wrong, we shouldn't resort to killing you. Moreover, Huin Tong is an existence my family cannot touch. Naturally, I have to take you out to settle things and reduce trouble. My Dongni said, no matter what, I am still a member of the my family. The family treating its own members like this truly makes the my family disappointed and heartbroken. Try asked how QD would hold power in the clan later. Uncle Kui said coldly, you Huin Tong probably won't take long to arrive here. When that time comes, just hand over two of you. Surely won't take much time. How the clan knows is another matter. Of course, after this, I will return to report. Just tell QD it's said. Li Yunxiao muttered, reporting, so it's someone from the Ju Huin sect. No wonder they're so arrogant. They really are a bit troublesome. My Dong and I said worriedly, Ju Huin sect is very powerful, isn't it? Hui Ba sneered and said, are you so foolish to train in the Back Dao sect? Even the Ju Huin sect? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Your lives won't last much longer anyway. No need to know too much about that. Like that, Li Yunxiao explained. Although the Yuexian sect is not on par with the 7 super powers dominating the entire Tianwu continent, its overall strength is the strongest in the northern region, and it also has a renowned reputation. Their strength can rank in the top 10 in the northern region. Moreover, they are from a sect known for their licentiousness. Any woman who catches the eye of a disciple from the mysterious Huin sect basically can't escape. Hui Ba, without any hesitation, burst into loud laughter, and in his laughter, cold, icy expression revealed, saying, even the minor women of the north. Min Huin sect is also without a sect leader. Wang Zhendu has taken over, and the one you killed is his own younger brother. Wang Da, do you think you still have a chance to survive? My Dong and I was so frightened upon hearing this that she hurriedly pushed Li Yunxiao outside, urgently saying, Yun, you must leave quickly. This matter involves everyone. It was caused by me alone. Has nothing to do with you. Li Van Tu patted her shoulder, smiling. You misunderstood. What I meant by trouble is that Huin Tong is the real troublemaker, daring make a move against Dong Ni. They have caused a big problem. Just then, with a bang, the door door of the tavern was smashed open. The martial artist on guard reacted in time and shouted desperately as he rushed inside. Madam, kneel. In horror, he opened his mouth wide. Those martial artists are her loyal subordinates. I can't believe they died suddenly on the spot. Cold, sinister aura spread as more than 10 people entered the tavern. Everyone had a grim expression, and the aura around their bodies was oppressive. Moreover, each person revealed emanating a sinister aura. Li Yunxiao glanced around and saw that among them 3 were cultivators, the highest being a martial sovereign of first stage. The hearts of the others were significantly weaker by a large margin. All were powerful martial emperors. Are those the ones? The man in the long robe spoke softly, his voice carrying no emotion whatsoever, causing everyone to feel unsettled. Everyone who heard it felt a chill rise. Yes, it really was them. The martial artist who left earlier placed Wang Da's body on the ground, pointed at Li Yunxiao fearfully, and said, "It was that man who killed young Master Da. Even if we wanted to save him, would be too late." After he lowered his head, his body trembling. The man in the long robe intoned in a deep voice. He said, "My disciple is the 7-tusk realm warrior king, yet he was killed by a Wuzong. You all have Wuzhuang realm cultivation, but still say you couldn't say that." Person felt the chilling aura enveloping him and was about to explain, but it was too late. The old man beside Wang Zhen suddenly raised his hand, and the consciousness in that person's mind suddenly gone. Blood splattered all over the head and body separate, chilling aura spreading from the tavern. My Dongni was terrified. Clinging to Li Yunxiao, she tightly grasped his sleeve, her face full of hate, even killing her own people. Li Yunxiao calmly said, "This is called a small pond with many turtles, tiny temple with big evil wind. The more bizarre a sect is, the more stories there are about people performing strange feats but lacking real skill. The mysterious sect in the northern region boasts a great reputation, but right now it seems quite ordinary, actually exaggerated beyond proof." These guys, after hearing this, their faces trembled with anger, yet the lewdness inside